Yes, we are ready.
Sam, you here?
Yep.
Okay. I thinking about last session. I decided that I'm just gonna be a little more straightforward with some of the mechanics because I feel like the Pathfinder Society stuff is sometimes way more formulaic, as I said last time, and I'm sort of beholden to the way that it's written, so it's letting you poke around to stumble across the mechanics yourselves is just kind of a waste of time in some sense. So I'm gonna try to be more direct about some of the mechanics, and if you feel like this is too meta, then just let me know. But I think, and with some things, it'll make things a lot easier. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That being said, last time you had attended the initiation party essentially for a bunch of new Pathfinder recruits, you among them, and you have rubbed elbows with some of the bigwigs of the society, and you got your faces out there and started to make some connections. And in order to make a name for yourselves and not just be another face in the crowd of new recruits, you've accepted a couple of missions from the various faction leaders. Last time you had already explored some haunted manor and learned of its dark past, just as Gorm Greathammer had asked you to do. And shaking off the cobwebs and the terrible memories of that, of those or the severed hands that were just reaching straight through the floorboards and ripping the flesh from your shins. Trying to shrug that off, you decide to do an easy one next and just get down to Westgate, the part of Absalom on the western side, and do as Fola Baron had asked you and rub some magic ointment on the petrified remains of a Pathfinder agent who'd been um, who'd been treated to the charge of the Gorgon for carrying out a society mission. And I mean, this is all above board. You have all the license, or everything's been done in the background for you, all the paperwork and all that stuff. So, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
So, are you going straight there?
Well, yeah. I suppose
Okay.
we can catch a breath and heal my legs. Well, they are already healed, so.
Yeah, and you could always, you could just ask around on your way there if you feel like your character is the kind that would always keep an ear on the ground and,
But
gather
yeah,
information.
after getting our bearings, we probably will go there.
Okay. So you go straight there, and for several blocks, the quiet lanes of Westgate's residential neighborhoods features small houses, low-key cafes and taverns, and the occasional specialty shop. The fragrant scent of tended flower gardens in the warm sunlight of the morning blends with the low hum of distant conversation over what would normally be a pleasant boulevard. But the stone statues, at first appearing only here and there, like odd decorations, now number several per block, and the otherwise plain square ahead is outright cluttered with stone figures. They take countless forms, from humans and halflings to orcs, lizard folk, or even stranger, all forever frozen in acts of desperation, defiance, or despair. The quaint, statue-filled square is also filled with people. Several dozen townsfolk shout and argue, their voices somehow out of place among the silent statues. Unfortunately for you, this is turning into a little bit more work. Um, the sorry. There's a crowd that has gathered near the center of the square, and it's currently between you and the statue of the Pathfinder that you were supposed to restore. And you can tell that they are being riled up by three ringleaders that have climbed the central dais near the fountain, and they're currently whipping the crowd into something of a frenzy, talking about tradition and that this is just what the people have spoken, and again conjuring this long-standing tradition and all that sort. And then as you enter the square, one of them catches you or catches sight of you and then points at you and yells, "That's them! I bet that's them! Those are the tradition breakers!" And the crowd goes, "Boo! Boo!" And they're obviously opposed to you restoring that statue.
I mean, tradition.
So what so we have the papers. So it's everything. Everything is accorded for. So what do you want? I mean, so one will be stoned forever here?
Oh, wait. Well, I think what my friend is saying is, this is a lovely tradition, very nice tradition, but I'm afraid that we need to reanimate this one because he will also want to participate in the traditions, and it's a bit rude him being encased in stone. I'm sure you would understand, right?
The crowd leaders are somewhat confused by your eloquence, and Haytham, you try to take the bureaucratic angle essentially, so you can go ahead and go with a diplomacy or legal lore if you have
I
that skill.
don't have legal. Well, I mean, I suppose underworld is somewhat legal from a certain point of view, but I will go with diplomacy on this,
Okay.
which is 0.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how about Rotre? You were appealing to the crowds for more social, I guess?
Yeah, it was basically just trying to be friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of socializing with them, being one of them, not
Yeah.
like acting against them. And you can go with a society or an Absalom lore check if you have either.
I have neither.
Okay.
I have
Um,
+0 on society.
Okay, you can try that.
And lore, I only have tanning lore, so.
Mm.
Eh,
That's not a whole lot.
Nope.
Okay. And Sam, what are Ezren and Kyra doing?
Kyra will try to appeal to. It's really unfair to these people to be just like encased in stone forever. Don't they deserve a second chance at life?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Diplomacy, maybe?
Yeah, go ahead.
Appeal to their better nature.
Nice. And Ezren?
Ezren, though. What can Ezren do here? I guess he would just nod along and reinforce the same angle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So after, let's call it a social round where each of you gets a chance to talk to the leaders, you realize that the crowd is really just looking to their leaders, and they're sort of mirroring whatever sentiment the leaders are projecting to them. And one of them was actually very sensitive to the diplomatic approach, and especially the argument about the paperwork. He walks over to you and he asks you to show it to him. Let's just assume that you got it from Flora, and he kind of shrugs and looks at his two buddies that are still up on that dais, and he says, "Well, they are right. That would be a crime to stop them at this point. So we're not going to be part of that." And he walks off, and with him, part of the crowd disperses. But the other two are still left. And one of them was kind of listening to Rotre's friendly angle and was giving him kind of a smile and being like, "Yeah, I mean, you," and says, "You're one of us. You understand this. This is our tradition. We can't just, make exceptions just because he has powerful friends. Where's the justice in that, huh?" Well, the third one that is still standing up there seems kind of drunk to you, and he just he slurs his words as he doesn't even look at you, and instead just yells at the crowd, spitting while he talks. And he goes like, "Just don't listen. It's not a crime. You're protecting your rights." And you have another round where you can each go with a check of some sort to try and appease the leaders.
So, okay, Rotre will try approach and ask curiously about their tradition. What is your tradition about? Are there perhaps drinks and food involved? Can we have some of that while we carry the discussion?
What? Okay.
Try to distract them, maybe have them go to the pub or something. And
Okay,
yeah.
let's go with another society. Check.
Eesh.
Yeah, no.
Oh, actually, Haytham will catch onto this one, and he will. Well, he will try to reinforce this notion of that. Well, listen, guys, it's getting really late by this point, and how about not just go to the pub? How about I just get you a round of drinks, huh?
Yeah, all right.
Sometime
I'll
later.
let you. Yeah. You have deception or alcohol lore?
I don't have alcohol
lore,
lore,
is that a
Yeah. Apparently, it's a thing.
but I do have society,
make a new
or
character.
well, my deception is only my charisma.
Oh, you want to try society with
Yes,
that? Okay, yeah,
I want
go for it.
society as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Would appealing to the immortal soul that will be forever trapped aspect be something that might work? Like, these people don't deserve to be stuck in limbo.
Okay, let's say that's a society check. Sort of like, do we want to be that sort of society? Yep. Apparently, they do want to be that sort of society
I mean,
that
it's only proper.
punishes wrongdoings with forever long.
Well, maybe Ezren will figure out a better way than me to word it.
Okay. Indeed, he does, and he hits the right note with the crowd, smartly, or with the crowd leader at least, smartly appealing to his sense of community, and that once you've paid your debt, then you should be, you should not be forever punished, but actually reintroduced to society, and sort of, kind of convincing him that he should leave. However, the town drunk, or not necessarily the town drunk, because it's a big town, but the drunk guy remains after you all tried your best to defuse the situation, and with them a bunch of the crowd still hangs out. Most of them in a similar state than him. You get the sense that they are not up early. They are probably still up late after quite some time in the taverns of Westgate. And the mood all of a sudden becomes very aggressive as the drunk guy sees the other little people leave, and he kind of gets upset about that, and finally turns over towards you and says, "No, no!" and yells at his buddies that are leaving, "No, you traitors! This is about Absalom's rights. You're all traitors!" Ah! And he comes running to attack you,
All right.
brandishing a dagger.
Well,
I will take your initiatives at this point.
So much for diplomacy.
initiatives.
Simon, I don't have control over
Oh, yeah.
neither Kyra.
Yeah, give me a second.
I'm assuming this is the normal perception initiative, right?
Yes.
Don't we have initiative here?
Should work now, Sam.
Yeah.
Where's initiative in this sheet? I can't find it.
There's no initiative. There's only perception or stealth or whatever skill
okay.
that's appropriate. And in this case, it's perception.
Okay. Perception. We're gonna roll manually because I didn't finish the sheet on roll 20.
All right. That's Rotre with a 19. Kyra and Ezren. Okay, Rotre, you kind of saw this coming, and you're ready to go.
Quick question before we engage.
Mm-hmm.
Is it legal what we're doing?
What do you mean?
We were
Like,
assured.
I know they're attacking us, but we are killing civilians, right?
Yeah,
we are-
he's armed.
We are
He's
not. We're
We
not
don't
killing
have to
civilians
kill
yet.
anyone.
We're not killing civilians yet. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, they're attacking.
So what? I mean,
If somebody's running at me with a sword,
dagger.
you punch him in the face.
dagger. Okay.
Because-
Can I strike to just cut off a hand? Can I be like super specific, and even if it's like more difficult?
There's non-lethal damage.
Yeah, I mean, in second edition, fists deal 1d4 damage, so it's perfectly valid to punch him in the face. I think.
Yeah, what's the point in having a massive, large bastard sword if I'm gonna punch people?
Well, the way non-lethal damage works, so if you want to knock somebody out, you can do whatever you want to them until you deal the last point of damage, and that has to be non-lethal damage, and then they're knocked out.
Okay. I mean, we're level 1. It's not like I'm gonna one-shot one person, right? Rotre will try to show a bit of restraint, and when he sees the person running with the dagger, we'll try and swing, but try and hit with the blunt, with like the wide side of the sword, like not slash, but kind of like
Are we
flat.
already in?
They're still far, right?
Are we already in the range, or we're?
No.
Doing...
I mean, you see where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you are.
No. Okay. In that case, then Rotre will only move. Oh shit! Wrong button. What's it? So Rotre will move 30 feet and go into defense, trying to appease to their better natures. No, you're making a mistake. And go into defense. Yeah.
Do you still have another action? Is there a defense action?
Is there? I don't know. Can I try diplomacy?
Does your character have a shield?
Alejandro?
Okay, no, I'll use. No, because I don't want to rush into them and use the full action. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know if I can go into defense. I'm not entirely sure what I can do.
I don't think there is a total defense.
Okay, I can
anything like
demoralize.
that.
Wait, no, I can demoralize. I attempt to frighten a creature within 30 feet of you who you are aware of.
That sounds good. Where is
yeah,
that from? Is that a feat or is that a skill
Well,
use?
It is a feat.
Oh, it's
Okay. So you took which feat is that?
It's the demoralize feat.
It's not
What
a feat.
It's a feat or ability because it's in the feats and abilities section.
Yeah, but where is it from?
At the Amri character sheet. That's the
The
one
what?
because I used the character sheets from the pre-gens to make mine
Oh, okay.
from last time, and then I just kind of kept it.
Okay. I don't know. It's probably using intimidate. Yeah, it's using the intimidate skill. It's not a feat. Okay, so you can certainly do that. It takes one action to do that, and choose a creature within 30 feet of you who you're
There's
aware
too
of.
far, so
Oh, does the description say anything else? Because the skill may have been kind of upgraded by some sort of feat.
no, because I have like intimidating glare.
Yeah, that's a
which-
feat.
Yeah, which is you can demoralize with a mere glare. When you do,
Right.
demoralize loses the auditory trait and gains a visual trait, and doesn't
Right.
take the penalty if the creature doesn't understand the language. But it doesn't say anything about distance.
Okay, so it's still 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but you have 3 actions, so you only used 1 as far as I know.
Okay, second action, get a bit closer, and then demoralize.
And how are you going to demoralize him? Yeah, what do you do?
By demoralizing, Rotre, holding his sword, will say, "Oh, please don't come with that attitude. I would hate to dent my sword with your thick skull."
Okay, that's an intimidate check then. Against his will DC, which I'm gonna have to look up. Okay.
That I can do.
Nice. Okay. You definitely make an impression on him. He's not scared out of his mind or something, but in his inebriated state, he is definitely somewhat frightened of you. That's not right. Okay. The conditions, there they are. So he gains frightened 1, which means that he is gripped by fear and struggles to control his nerves. The frightened condition always includes a value, in this case 1. You take a status penalty equal to this value to all your checks and DC. Okay, that's easy enough. Alright, Haytham.
Haytham will try to calmly walk next to Rotre. Yeah, that would be just enough. And he will use his other interact actions to pull out his twin sabers, and he will just also glare at the crowd leader silently, because, well, apparently Rotre did all intimidating by himself now. But he will mentally prepare now to deliver non-lethal beatdown with his sword. With his swords.
Okay, so you're also trying to intimidate him. Don't know if that stacks.
No,
Intimidation.
no, he will just stand beside Rotre while he's intimidating him.
Okay, he's not actually actively doing that.
Yes.
Although I would be interesting to know if two people scare somebody, if that means that the frightened condition gets heightened to two.
I believe in first edition they did stack. I mean,
In first
upgraded.
edition, no. In first
No?
edition, you would just be shaken, and
mean-
I don't think that it said anything about
I thought fear
becoming
conditions
frightened.
would upgrade. No?
No,
No,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't think so. Okay, so yeah, so he's slightly scared, but he has a lot of what would you call it? Tulden or Kalian courage, I guess. And he tumbles forward and just kind of almost falls down the stairs as he tries to stab Haytham with his dagger. Getting attack bonus off, not just a little bit. 23 to hit.
That go home, you're drunk. That 23.
He is indeed, but he because he falls down the stairs, there's a lot of weight behind that dagger thrust, and you take 5 points of damage.
Yeah, my goodwill towards this guy evaporates very quickly.
Ezren.
Oh,
Sorry. Would have been a 22. Just have to remind myself that he takes the frightened penalty. But still 5 points of damage. Okay. Ezren, go.
Ezren is going to move closer and then cast Shield, so as to not be surprised himself.
Okay. Kyra.
Kyra will also move closer, and she will attempt to disable the crowd leader non-lethally with a daze spell.
So how does that work?
So it is. I think it's. Basic will save.
Okay. Let's start with that. 16.
That's a
Oh,
miss.
sorry, 15, but yeah.
Well, it's still a failure, non-lethal failure. And since that failed, deals mental damage equal to spellcasting ability, which is 4. So he takes 4 non-lethal mental damage.
Wow. Okay. But if I'm not mistaken, that just means that he takes 4 damage, right? They have the non-lethal trait, but he just still takes 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
There's no separate bookkeeping of non-lethal damage points. Okay. Yeah. The crowd is slowly starting to get animated. It's riled up quite a lot, and you get the sense that they're not willing to risk their lives, and it seems like most of them are feeling like their leader is overreacting here. But nevertheless, they they throw some trash and rocks and stuff that is lying around in your general direction. So they throw some trash at Haytham. With quite some penalties, 10, 20, yeah, so they take a penalty on that. 14 to hit.
No.
Okay, and they throw some trash at Rotre, which is 15 to hit.
Sorry. Mute. AC. It does not hit.
Okay, so yeah, you just getting showered by trash from the crowd, but they don't hit. And actually have one last attack at Haytham, but a 12 to hit is another miss. So yeah, you're just getting showered by trash and nothing is really hurting. Smelly though. Rotre.
Can I? So if I do sudden charge, can I do it? Because it's dash up to a 4 and swing, strike twice, and then can I do it with non-lethal damage?
Sure, but it's not really an advantage here to do that because you could just strike once and attack.
I just wanted. I thought it would make for a good dramatic effect, seeing as the other people are getting, demoralized.
Sure.
No, then I'll do an unarmed strike. Is that just a basic strength check?
It's an unarmed attack. That there's somewhere it will probably say what your unarmed attack bonus is, and it will probably just be the same as your weapon at this point.
Okay, yeah, because it doesn't really say. Something in strikes melee, because it's
Yeah, if you have a modifier for melee strikes, that's your unarmed strike.
Okay.
But you need to get next to him first.
Oh, right, yeah. And with a backhand swing,
You slap him square across the face, and damage.
damage is 1d8 plus 4.
Only 8 plus 4. Okay.
I mean, that's with the large bastard sword, so.
Yeah, you hear something crack. You probably definitely bruised his jaw quite a bit here, and you almost feel like you put a little too much force in that blow, but at least it knocks his lights out, and his eyes roll back, and he hits the ground.
I say, this man will wake up with a bruised face and a bruised ego. Make sure you don't join him.
Yeah, some people in the crowd still keep throwing trash, but they only throw it in your general direction. You get the feeling that they don't even really want to hit you, seeing how how strong you are. And part of the crowd is already dispersing, and then a few moments later, all of the troublemakers have disappeared.
Yeah. And sleep tight. Yeah.
All right, before getting somebody to take care of the crowd leader here, you move over to the statue of the Pathfinder that you were supposed to restore. You look at her face, and she seems almost surprised in her expression, which is, of course, understandable because staring at a Gorgon would do that to you. Fola provided you with a greater salve of anti-paralysis. I'm sure you were willing to use that here, right?
Of course.
Yep.
Okay. And sorry. They you take out the salve and uncork it and go, "Foop." But before you get a chance to apply it, there's a strange, sudden, subtle change in the quality of the air around here, and you smell a little bit of sulfur, and you turn around to see what caused that, and you behold two terrifying creatures that seemingly appeared out of nowhere. And without any further ado, attack you. And another initiative.
All right.
What are we using? Perception for initiative, right?
Yes. Okay, each of you have a token in the initiative. You can enter your rolls yourself, because I can't really tell which is which here. Okay. And yeah, the demons to catch you by surprise, or daemons. And the first one moves in to attack Haytham, and yeah, it takes an action to move, and then takes another action to bite you, or try to bite you. Yeah. So it uses its powerful jaws, 26 to hit.
Where do these guests keep coming from? Yes, it will hit.
But a regular hit, or is it even critical?
Critical is more than 5, right?
No, 10.
10.
Then no.
10 or more. Okay, so then it's 7 points of piercing damage from the bite. And then there is 2 points of evil damage, because they're evil. And I will need a fortitude save, because those things are vicious. Okay. The next thing is that the other daemon's turn comes up. Oh, sorry. It has a third action. I need to get used to that. And tries to bite you again, but an 8 is a miss. Then the other daemon comes in, tries to bite you with a 21 to hit.
Okay.
I assume that's a hit.
Yes, it is.
2 points of regular damage. 4 points of evil damage, and another fortitude save.
Do I need to make it if I'm in 0 hit points?
Yes, you do. Okay. So you get bitten by the thing and go down unconscious, gaining the dying 1 condition. And the daemon has another action left. Yes, and takes a step to close in with Kyra. Rotre, you see your friend getting mauled by 2 daemons that appeared out of thin air on the far side of the square.
Now I think might be a good time to charge, right?
Well, but you can't really charge in a straight line here, so you would have to.
Yeah, there's a fountain in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it lets you just move, I don't know if it says you have to move in a straight line.
I think so.
What does it say?
It says you dash up to a foe, and I believe dash is up in the.
No, then Pathfinder 2 is way better about its wordings. So if it says, it probably says something like you can do 2 strides or something like that.
Yeah, stride twice.
Exactly. So if it doesn't say it has to be in a straight line, then it's just a regular stride, and you can just move your speed with one stride.
So, but that takes 2 actions. So if I use 1 action for normal movement and then use sudden charge, that would
That
be
could
like the 3 actions, right?
that would be like the 3 actions. But what traits does the sudden charge have?
Aha, because see, if I end my movement within melee reach of at least one enemy, I can make a melee strike against that enemy.
Yes, but what traits does the sudden charge have? Is it open?
Yeah. You dash up to a foe and swing, strike twice. If you end your movement within melee range of at least
No,
one
no,
enemy,
no, no. It has some code words, some keywords near the top of the description. Does it say anything about open or flourish or something like that?
nope. You can use sudden charge while burrowing, climbing, flying, or swimming instead of striding if you have the corresponding movement
No,
type.
that's not what I'm.
It's
That's what it
it
says. Yeah,
says
but sorry, that's what it says.
barbarian flourish open.
Yeah. So let's see. Open means that you can only use that as the first thing with an attack trait. Okay, but you can just do a regular stride if you wanted to. And flourish means
It
that
means
actually
only once per round.
you can only use one flourish action once per round. Okay, yes. So you can absolutely do one stride and then take the sudden charge to do another 2 and attack.
Okay. And then I will stride towards this guy
Nice.
and end up with my attack. Swinging the large bastard sword.
Oh boy, that's a critical
Yeah,
miss.
I tripped.
And Ezren's turn.
Ezren is going to get away from this, and he is going to start laying down some. What are they called? Components to cast magic missile.
Okay.
And so that will be 2 magic missiles targeted at this guy.
Okay. So that's 6 points of damage against this creature. Let me see if it has any particular defenses that might apply here. No. Okay. So that's 6 points of damage. Kyra?
Kyra is going to step back and cast a heal targeted at Haytham.
So the ranged version with 2 actions?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. He gets 15 hit points back and only has the wounded condition, I believe, at this point.
What does wounded
Wounded
condition do?
1. It only means that if you get into dying again, your dying condition is raised by 1 or by the number of wounded. So now you are wounded 1, which means next time you go to 0 hit points, you're immediately dying 2. And if you're downed by a crit, then you would go immediately to dying 3, being only 1 round away from dying. So being wounded is quite severe. Okay, that was Kyra's turn. Then the demon Haytham is prone on the floor, doesn't necessarily pose a threat at this point, at least in its opinion, but it sees that Kyra has some healing magic, so it steps forward as an action and then tries to bite Kyra as its second action, using its powerful jaws again. 14 to hit.
That's a miss.
And then it tries to bite again, taking the multi-attack penalty, and it's a critical miss. Haytham, you're prone, but you're alive.
All right, I'm full of vigor. Haytham will stand as one move action.
Let me see if they have any reactions, but it doesn't look like that. Nope.
Okay.
You can safely stand up.
He will take a step right between them because he is very bad at taking hints. But he wants to have flanking with Kyra.
Okay, Kyra is armed with a melee weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me see, because I believe my flourish is one action. Twin takedown. Yep, my twin takedown is one action, so he will use it on
How does it work?
this Cacodemon. I swiftly attack my hunted prey. I will need to designate one of them as my hunted prey.
That takes an action, I assume.
Yeah, in that case, if you allow me to roll back a little bit, I will not take a step.
Okay.
I will.
So you only get up as an action.
Yeah, I will designate, well, this one
Yes.
as my hunted prey,
Okay.
and will twin takedown him now on my last
Okay.
third action, which means
Okay.
I swiftly attack them with my 2 strikes against hunted prey, 1 with each weapon, which means I just make 2 attacks for 1 action. And damage.
But you still get the -5 on the second one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the damage is combined from them.
Oh, that's nice.
Weapon 1.
Ooh, that's a nice hit for 3, and then the second one.
And the second one is not as cool, but well, I tried.
Okay. So that's only 3 points of damage, but nevertheless, it's some damage. However, the other demon takes a step
Wait.
here. What?
Why? I mean, they are supposed to take turns simultaneously. I mean, before me.
No, because when you get to 0 hit points, you move in the initiative to the right before the person that took you down.
Okay.
So it took a step down there, and then it's going to try and bite you again, Haytham. 25 to hit is 1d8. 4 points of piercing damage plus 3 points of evil and another fortitude save. And a 16 to hit with a second one. No, sorry, that's actually just an 11.
No, that's not enough.
Okay, and then it's Rotre's turn.
Rotre will. It's 5 steps still, I think. It's
called a step. It's called a step, and it's an action to do that.
Okay. Then yeah, 1 action to take a step forward and swing. For 14.
That's not enough, unfortunately.
Can I swing again?
Yes. So you okay? You could have also just moved instead of taking the step, and then you would have flanked with Haytham, just so you know. Because the 5-foot step not being a free action anymore should make you think if you really only want to move 5 feet.
Yeah, be more strategic thinking.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't get to do it for free. And the benefit that you get, that it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity, also isn't as huge anymore, because most creatures, I dare say, don't have attacks of opportunity anymore. So usually you want to stride instead of stepping.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lots of changes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll let you reconsider that step and move if you like.
Well, I mean, I already missed one and succeeded on the other one, so
Okay.
I'll just roll the damage for this one.
Okay.
and learn from my mistakes.
And that's 9 points of damage for that second one. Ezren.
Ezra would like to attempt to recall knowledge about these creatures.
Okay. That will be something. Recall knowledge using. What spell would that be? Lore? Is there lore planes or something like that? Or is it just arcana? Planes lore?
Our arcane planes is listed under arcana.
Arcane planes?
Yeah, it lists arcane planes under arcana, natural planes under nature, esoteric planes under occultism.
Oh, I guess then they fall under religion because that would probably be religious planes like outer sphere, positive, negative energy.
Does
Creatures
the like the
or occultism.
does the stat block doesn't list?
What do you mean? Which spell? Which skill to use against them?
Yeah.
No.
Ezran does have occultism.
No. Let's see. Occultism. Creatures of occult significance, aberrations, spirits, and oozes. Positive, negative, shadow, astral, and ethereal. That doesn't fit. Nature is first world, material, elemental. Creatures of natural origin doesn't fit. Religion. Celestials, fiends, and undead. Outer sphere, positive, negative energy. It's not a fiend. Or is it a fiend?
Well, I mean, if it is a demon, I suppose it would fall under a fiend.
I guess, yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, because I mean, fiends are
It's a daemon, but
Yeah.
still, I think that's probably calling it. He would probably still call that a fiend.
I mean, it's sort of a catch-all term for these kind of things.
So religion.
Yes. Yeah, and it has ranks in religion itself, so that would make sense that you would use religion against it. Okay. Yep, but it just looks like a giant ball with teeth, and it's quite scary.
And well, scary things can be made to go away with acid, so he's going to target one of them with an acid splash.
Okay. Splash it. Is there anything new about it? How does it work?
It's an attack roll.
Just against its regular AC?
I think so, because now spells use the spell attack roll, which is based on the spellcasting modifier.
Mm-hmm. But against what?
I think there's only regular AC, because attack rolls for spellcasters won't be as far behind, because you always add level and you use your best stat, so you're not that far behind.
Okay.
Which I guess means that he misses.
Give me a second here. Okay. Yeah, indeed, he misses. Okay, so that makes these spells a little harder to use. Kyra, I assume that was just that was 2 actions to
Yep.
do that. Okay.
Kyra.
Kyra.
Kyra has a couple of options here. Uh, uh, I guess she will take a move and attempt to slash at the creature.
Okay, she steps and strikes. That is including the flanking or not?
Oh, I did not.
So then it's a critical hit.
All right. I forgot. Is it rolling twice or multiply by 2?
You multiply. Used to be rolling, but now it's multiplying.
Okay, so 10 points of damage.
Wow. Okay.
And then
That's an
she
18 with
takes...
her last attack.
Yeah.
That's another hit.
Okay, so it has...
Yeah, and you don't even need to roll because 3 points is definitely enough to kill
Okay.
the demon. And in a puff of sulfur smoke, it disappears.
Good.
Haytham.
Okay, Haytham then will he will take another flanking position with Rotre,
Mm-hmm.
since these things don't seem to have reactions. It doesn't really matter how he will do this, but I still have 2 actions left, so I will once again try to flourish my way into killing this thing, and if it won't cut it, I will just use my third attack. It's bonus to roll +2 for flanking, right?
No, the creature is flat-footed, so it takes -2 to its AC. You just roll
okay.
regularly. So 14 is a hit because of that. And
That's not...
the 7 is, of course, a miss, though. Okay, the demon being attacked by... Oh, what? The third attack?
Yes. I use one of my actions to move, one of my actions to flourish, and my third action to make a third attack.
Oh, okay. And how do your modifiers go from 6 to 4
Yes,
to 2?
that is because wait, no. It I forgot. No, third attack doesn't count. I need to designate him as my hunted prey. To use my twin takedown. I forgot.
Right. So do you take your third action to...
Well, I take
No,
my
no, you don't have
take
to.
my
Yeah,
first.
I got it.
Take my first action yes,
Yep,
and then
I got it. Rotre.
Rotre will continue the onslaught.
That's a hit.
Yes.
And you skewer the daemon. And before you can even really pull your sword out, though, it disappears.
Boo. I want to skin it.
Leaving only the sickening smell of sulfur behind.
what the hell that was about? I almost went to Serenade domain earlier than I planned. Ugh.
Well, okay, so this took an unexpected turn with the
Yeah.
villagers and the
Well, I mean, I
demons.
can understand villagers, but what are these things? I mean, are they have anything against our esteemed colleague here? Enough not to let us revive her? Speaking of which, let's probably should do that as soon as we can.
Exactly. It sure is curious how two daemons would just appear out of thin air like that. But there's nobody else to be found. Everybody else who was around has left in terror when those creatures appeared. So the only thing that's left for you to do is restore the Pathfinder. You rub the magic ointment on the statue, and soon the stone starts to return to fabric. The clothes become clothing again, and the skin becomes skin again, and finally, with a sharp breath, the Pathfinder is restored to life. She shows her great appreciation to your efforts, and after you explained to her that it was Fola's machinations that actually got her freed, she takes note of that and gifts you a small gold idol of an ancient goddess. She explains to you that this is Akavna, the ancient Aslanti goddess of magic. Looks quite valuable. And
Akavna.
Akavna, like this. She congratulates you to a job well done. All right.
I think brighter minds than ours will probably know what the demons involved were or what brought them here. Unless one of you wants to poke around.
Yeah, no, I think we had enough of memories of this place for now.
Right, and you have 2 more jobs to do. So where do you want to go next?
So next we have our initial initial job of reappropriating a boat, a haunted boat, and
I think that would be a good idea.
yeah, and third job of to check up on someone, right? I believe.
I don't remember that other job because we got that one from.
There was the wizard.
That guy
was
who wanted.
suspected.
Yeah, that guy who wanted to have magic stuff locked up. Not. I'm not sure that was.
So we have the one from Calisro was the one about stealing a ship.
Yes.
Then Ando Klein was.
It was not about stealing a ship. Just making sure you got that right.
We completely missed.
Yes, reappropriating the ship. Yes.
No. No. You were asked to investigate the ship, and she kind of made a sly or fun comment about how cool it would be for you to come back with the ship, but that was more like a joke.
Oh yeah, that like.
Yeah, I mean,
literally.
we get it. It was a joke, right?
Yeah, like, wink, wink. But we're still gonna steal that ship, right?
Yeah, I believe the second, the last one was from Ian Klein, who was the Vigilant Steel guy.
Yeah, do you remember what mission he gave you?
He wanted us to, I believe, to investigate on someone, but I will need to a bit of a reminder on who exactly.
There's this wizard at the. There's this wizard at the in town who is getting a little in over her head. At least that's what people say, and he doesn't really know anything about it. Only rumors that there's somebody messing with forces beyond their control, and he wants you to investigate and make sure that no evil is unleashed that cannot be contained.
All right, should we do that one?
I suppose so.
Before we head out, Kyra will try to bandage Haytham and herself.
Okay, so to use
treat wounds.
Use the medicine skill. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To treat wounds. So you spend 10 minutes. You have healer's tools, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the check is 15. Check to see. Who are you going to start? Oh, well, doesn't matter.
With Haytham.
Okay.
And I believe that's a critical success.
That is a critical success. And does that increase anything? Yeah, 4d8 and no more wounded.
Yay.
That's cool that non-magic healing got a serious bump.
Yeah, I was actually like one of the things I was doing during the week was seeing if I could do a field medic character. That looks really good.
Yeah, well, I think that's might still be a trap because the healing from non-magical sources doesn't scale. So for low levels, it would probably work. But once you have a significant number of hit points, then
Oh yeah, but not like a dedicated healing character, just having that function.
I think with a couple of feats you can have it relatively scale.
oh yeah,
If I remember correctly, I think.
okay.
All right. So
Anyway,
that
so now one more for Kyra.
I'm just checking if she can perform that on herself. Don't see anything against it.
Targeting yourself if you so choose. It explicitly says that you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
you're restored as well.
for the scaling, it's just a higher DC for extra hit points. It's not that. Well, it's still decent.
Yeah.
okay, I'm feeling much better. Although this day is starting to becoming very very sad for me.
Okay, so which one do you want to tackle first? The ship or the wizard?
I suppose if we are going to return with the ship, we should do it last then. So we suppose
Yeah.
we check up on the wizard then. No.
Yeah, that feels more time sensitive too.
Okay, so unfortunately, you have very little to go on. You only know that it's somewhere in the Petals district, which I will tell you a little more about in a second.
You're breaking up somehow.
What's that?
Or no, wait, it's my Discord.
You're breaking up. Cardis?
Yes, I'm here. I think
Yeah.
Discord is glitching.
Okay.
Okay. So, the Petal District is in the northwestern part of Absalom, and rests atop the water-cleft cliff face upon a rise of land known as Erodin's Hill. It is the wealthiest district of the city at the center of the world, and a number of powerful noble families are at home here. The district's name comes from the well-maintained rows of flowers that run down the center of almost every paved street and brick-framed medians. And in the opulent palaces that have been built in this district, decadent balconies and elaborate gardens of the rich and powerful lies. Yeah, blah. Ugh, sorry. Yeah, the district holds a number of interesting places, ranging from the Restful Pathfinder's Lounge, which is exclusively for Pathfinder members, the Thuvian Embassy, and also the College of Mysteries, the oldest school of magic in Absalom, which is probably why Eando sent you here as the first place where you should start your investigation into that mysterious wizard. You will have to ask around for information, though, because he couldn't give you any more than that. That will be diplomacy checks.
Can I try to use my lore underworld to try to gather some information? From the shady sources?
Unless there's anything in the skill description that generally lets you do that, then there's nothing specific to this situation that would let you do that.
All right.
Rotre is not very diplomatic at the moment.
I'm at the moment being chewed out by the demons from the inside, and still recovering from that. So it's probably the smell of sulfur that frightens up the people.
Kyra will do some asking around.
Okay, all right, nice.
And I guess Serenites are easily trusted.
I guess so.
Maybe I should carry around the whole symbol of the down floor too.
Okay. All right. And how's Ezren?
Let's see. Well,
Yeah, I guess both of them are more at home in this fancy neighborhood than Rotre and Haytham. And both Kyra and Ezren learn that a wizard named Tavar has been working on a ritual for several days at the Blackross Museum after its
Right.
normal hours of operation, with some assistants aiding her. The source of that are some colleagues of her from the College of Mystery, and they add a comment that hint at the fact that she. Oh God, there's so much scrolling involved in this because there's all sorts of tables that are spread out all over the PDF. I'm sorry about that.
Mhm.
And I refuse to print 30 pages just for running a game. Yeah, they make a comment about the fact that she's under great pressure to publish since the publish or perish culture at the College of Mystery is quite intense. And her colleagues worry that she's been cutting corners in the ritual's execution to get quicker results. And the campus is actually quite abuzz with rumors about this. So Ezrin confirms this thing about Tavar feeling under immense pressure and probably cutting corners in the preparation of her ritual. Haytham even learns that Rotre and Haytham learn about Tavar's activity at the Blackross Museum after hours, and Haytham also overhears a comment that that she's originally from Nidal, and she's probably hoping to prove that there is some good in her homeland and that shadow magic can be used for good. And that's why she included some shadow tongue in the runes that are enhancing the energy of the ritual.
Yeah, no doubt she was inspired by that shadow using gnome from Carvosa.
Probably.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what you learn after spending a good amount of the day asking around the campus of the college and the streets of the Petal District. And it's already getting late. The museum is probably about to close soon, which would give you an opportunity to check in on the ritual if you feel so inclined.
Well, indeed. Since we're here, I'm sure Ezren would be fascinated to see it with his own eyes.
of course.
All right, so you arrive at the museum after hours, and you find the front door closed but unlocked. You knock, and a single staff member seems to be left in charge around here. He introduces himself as Chiron, says he was cleaning the museum, and doing maintenance on the exhibits. So I'm sorry, but what is your business here? We're actually closed for the day. You're welcome to come back tomorrow.
Well, actually, you see, we're with a Grand Lodge of Pathfinders from of Absalom, and there have been reported disturbance around here.
Society, you say? Do you have any proof of that?
Do we have any proof of that?
Didn't we get something?
I mean, Haytham kept, I think, that fake Wayfinder from previous adventure, but it's fake.
So you know is your answer, or
Well, are we not yet full members of the
Well,
society?
we're full members, but we don't have the badge basically to show.
Wait.
Or do we?
Inventory.
only if you bought one? So as you're kind of standing around awkwardly, not really having an immediate answer, he says, "Well, at least tell me who sent you here, then."
And
That we can say.
Haytham will deeply sigh and say, and decline.
Oh, I see. Well, I have to say that all these strange manifestations in the museum are sort of troubling me too. I guess it was about time that he would send someone. All right, wait a second. And he opens the door fully and leads you inside and says, "She's upstairs on the third floor." And he leads you through the museum to an unobtrusive staircase in the museum's northeast corner. And you reach the second floor on the eastern edge of the museum near the bathrooms. And as he walks you upstairs, he comments again on, "There's been these wisps of shadows popping in and out, and sometimes there are shadows that are way darker than what you would expect with even in bright sunlight. It's a little worrisome, but she seems like such a smart person. I didn't mean to interfere with her research. Anyway, I'm sure you can take good care of yourself, so I will leave yourselves to it. Please don't break anything while you're here."
Of course.
The
So,
museum is lit by dozens of continual flame spells that are suspended in hanging braziers as you make your way through the museum, and you pass by various interesting-looking exhibits, but you don't really have time for that. And on the on the second floor, um, you leave a bunch of staff offices behind. You just kind of glance over the names on the doors. The southernmost door bearing a small brass placard reading Nigel Aldane, curator. So this just seems to be the office space of the museum. And you continue onwards, passing by what looks like a lecture hall, a long, narrow presentation space with seating for around 30 guests, all of them facing a low stage at the south end of the room. At first glance, the room seems empty, but a moment later, it seems as though the shadows of an audience still fill the plush seats. A chill draft sweeps through the room, of a whispery voice echoes from the podium. And rather than engage in a responsible, controlled study of the codebook, the Argus Guild decided, imprudently, to simply execute the signals listed therein. The voice trails off into a looming silence.
Haytham?
what? I've already had my share of demons munching on me today. And Haytham will nonetheless step up and clear his throat. Hello?
And you all hang around, but there's just silence as your voice echoes through the room. But then the voice kind of fades in again before it fades out, and it says, 6 flashes of red light to initiate an attack on the granary.
Can Ezren try to figure out if that has any sort of magical signification?
I
Well,
think they're
you
just talking about setting fire to a granary.
is Rotre's opinion.
Yeah.
And Ezren, it seems like this is probably connected to the ritual of some sort. I mean, Haytham had already mentioned that there's some shadow stuff involved, so you would think that this is probably kind of seeping through the cracks that may be caused by the ritual itself. The contents of this are. There's no skill check connected to this, so I guess you just recognize it as such, which is that there seems to be echoes of a recent lecture about Yargo's Gill and the Silent Tide incursion of a decade before. There are just some tidbits that describing the inadvertent activation of the Black Echelon's attack on Absalom in 4708 AR, but they don't really seem to be connected to the ritual other than being shadowy manifestations.
Well, suppose we should just move in and see what exactly is going on with our own eyes. And since
Okay, so you move on and come across another where carefully framed spellbook pages hang along the walls, while eldritch relics stand in a small display case in the room's center. In the far corner, shadows hang thicker than the rest of the room, and it seems a boisterous half-orc woman stands there, surrounded by vague figures as she welcomes newcomers. Her voice is thin and reedy, but eerily familiar. Congratulations! Let me spice up that punch a bit for you to celebrate, of course.
Hmm.
And you realize you're watching remnants of your own memories.
This place is haunted.
Damn it! I was hoping more for like farmhand vandalism. Well,
Okay, you continue onward, and you make your way to the next hall, where a gigantic reptilian beast is on display in the center of an expensive gallery, ferociously leering over the collection of taxidermy animals and monsters. Shadows flit between the displays, meandering and shuffling shapes reminiscent of museum patrons. Then a distant shriek echoes off the walls as the shadow of a stuffed owlbear lashes out at one of the shadow visitors with its talons. The shadow of the tyrannosaur in the room's center departs from its source and snaps at the misty image of another patron, tossing its head back and seeming to swallow its meal nearly whole. Other shadows snarl and hiss, scuffling amongst themselves as shadow guests panic and run toward the exit. And some of the shadows run right through you. The entire scene plays out as if you're not even there, and you don't seem to find a way to interact with them in any way.
Well, at least they're not trying to take a piece of us, so...
At first they don't, but then as all the museum's shadowy guests have run off, the shadows of the dinosaurs turn towards your own shadows.
Oh,
And as you watch in horror, you watch them maul yourselves and eat yourselves, at least in shadow form.
Okay. And do we feel anything from that?
Well, you're quite unnerved by it, but nothing mechanical.
Okay.
But this is certainly getting more and more intense.
Then we probably should leave this exposition as soon as we can, before they start to.
And
Yeah.
you chase through the hall and up the staircase in the back, up to the third floor where the ritual was supposed to take place. And you already hear the droning voices echo off the mahogany walls as you climb the stairs. And finally reach a luxurious room with a domed plaster ceiling. The sumptuous furniture has been pushed to the sides of the room, making space for eldritch markings and mystical paraphernalia laid carefully over the plush carpet. The chamber seems muted and dim, despite the crystal chandelier overhead, and a bone-numbing chill seeps through the space, along with a metallic scent. A ritual is obviously underway here, but it doesn't seem as though it's working as planned. Shadow energy lashes out from a twisting breach in the center of the room, and indistinct shapes flit and scuttle along the walls. You've walked into a ritual in progress, and a ritual that has obviously gone terribly awry. A woman stands at the head of the circle, her face twisted in a determined grimace, while her assistants each frantically continue their gestures and chants. The ritual is obviously wearing them down, and they're too occupied with the ritual to engage with you in any way. But as you arrive, the shadows are stirred up even further, making the making the ruinous end of the ritual come a bit faster than it might have been otherwise.
Ezren.
Give me a second here. Okay, so that's that. Okay, initiative.
Wonderful.
Based on perception.
Yes. I did not get the sense that any of you were trying to be particularly stealthy. Oops. Okay. That's that. Okay. And can you put in your initiatives? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, yep. Bloody thing.
What do we do, Ezren?
That's what happens when you cut corners.
Okay. Rotre, you're the first one to be able to act.
Well, Rotre's a bit overwhelmed. All this magic and rituals and shadows and museums. He is very out of his element. And he will will turn to Calerion and say, Calerion, how do we fight this? The scroll that I gave you, can you use that? Is it useful?
Who are you talking to?
Sorry, Sam, what was his name? Calerion? No,
Kyra.
Calerion, yeah.
Kyra.
Kyra. Kyra. Sorry.
Well, that scroll would work against undead.
I don't know. And
So do you delay other than that?
yeah, I delay.
Okay.
Rotre is really not sure.
Let Kyra take the lead. Okay.
Yep.
What could Kyra? What can she figure out about this?
Well, you see the ritual going on. You had heard about the fact that apparently Tava was cutting some corners, so you could try to, inspect those runes that apparently weren't drawn quite right. So you can use Arcana or Thievery for whatever reason.
Bum, ba, da, bum. Huh. Well, she's trained in neither of those. Can she figure out if there's any sort of ritual significance to this? There's any religious significance to this ritual?
Well, none that she would be aware of.
Well, in that case, she's going to turn towards Ezren expectantly.
Okay, so you delay until after Ezren?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would just assume that Rotre also waits until someone has an idea. Haytham?
Well, I mean, if thievery was mentioned, then maybe I could lend a hand. As he will inspect runes on account of if can I disrupt them somehow and interrupt their flow so it would dissipate safely or something like this. So he will try to. I suppose it would be an action to.
Yeah, that's definitely an action. Oh, occultism would also work as a general thing. 15.
And
No, I mean you've heard that they were drawn in a hurry, but you think they are actually quite expertly drawn.
all right.
So you don't spot anything immediately that would,
And
jump out at you.
Yeah, for the rest of his actions, Haytham will unsheath his blades just in case if some stabbing would be done.
Okay. Ezren.
All right. So Ezren, I assume, knows a lot about this kind of rituals. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned occultism,
Occultism or Arcana.
but they're the same modifier for him.
Okay, so you should try Arcana then.
All right.
18. All right. So he takes a look at the scenery and clears his head of the droning chants, watching everybody being so entranced and under such great pressure, being tied into the ritual like that. And he gets quite worried. You see him. He usually keeps his cool, but this seems to upset him. And he spots one of the runes that hasn't been drawn quite right and corrects it. And he says, "Quick! They're barely holding everything together. We need to correct these flaws before everything falls apart here."
And how you suggest doing that?
Look for the runes that don't seem quite right and just correct them. And keep everyone alive,
Oh,
he says somewhat ominously, because even though they're all quite strained, they're not wounded or anything. But he seems like
Alright.
he's expecting bad things to happen very soon, very quickly.
well, Haytham already tried, so it's up to you guys.
Well, yeah, it's Kyra's turn.
Well, Kyra, I imagine occultism, other than Arcana, is the only way to spot faulty
Occultism,
runes.
thievery, or Arcana.
Would thievery require to be trained?
Yeah, that would have to be trained.
And she cannot help with that.
But occultism doesn't have to be trained.
Oh, okay.
That's it? Just flat
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, doesn't see anything. She doesn't know anything about these runes. She just is kind of unsettled by this whole scene, and she feels like she's out of her depth here. Still have an action?
Uh, well, I think, I don't know, she's going to move.
Okay, you still have another action?
Nothing in particular. Is there
You can just try keep rolling
search?
occultism,
Okay, yeah.
because don't have to do that only once. You could do that as many times as you are willing to take actions. But that's not helpful. Rotre.
Rotre is still not sure what is happening. And yeah, he's still gonna delay.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
All right. The ritual emits a surge of shadowy energy all of a sudden. Ezren is close enough to one of the assistants that he actually throws himself in front of him. And let me see. So that's 2d6 negative energy damage. DC 18, basic fortitude. Okay, so I'm gonna have to roll for each of these guys. Where is it? Did they not give it? Don't think they gave them skill stat blocks. Hmm. Yep, they didn't get stat blocks. So how am I supposed to roll for them?
Wing it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know, just
how?
Maximize their hit points.
Did they really forget to mention the stats? Because they explicitly say that they need to roll. And then they don't give you the stat block. Alright, I guess they're just flat d20s.
Maybe it's that case when they put their description in bold, like acolytes and then see the monster manual on this page for them.
No, they don't have that yet, so they can't really do that. And there's nothing like any of that sort. Let me just check one last time. I missed something in the beginning of the description. They also have, like, they describe some of the encounter in the front of the PDF, and then they give you the stats in the end of the PDF, but then they write the development of the encounter in the front again, but not all of it, so you have to kind of jump back and forth between the end and the beginning. It is not a good way of laying it out. Nope, they forgot the stats. So I'm just gonna roll flat d20s. Okay, Tavar. Oh, nice. One of the assistants, two of the assistants made their saves. Actually, it was Ezren because he threw himself in front of one of them. While Tavar takes 5 points of damage. Wait a second. Yeah, Tavar takes 5 points of damage. One of the assistants takes 5 points of damage, and the other two. This is really frustrating. And the other two take half damage. Meaning Ezren takes 2 points, and the assistant that was not saved by any of you takes 2 points as well. So they get damaged by this, but it doesn't like slap them out of their trance or anything like that. In addition to dealing that damage, however, the surge of energy brings a shadow wisp into the room, which is just this shadowy wisp, as it says. And it moves towards Kyra. Attacks her. The shadow wisp has it stretches out.
Sorry.
Your turn.
Yeah, Discord glitched, so I reconnected.
Okay, so on top of dealing damage in that burst of shadow energy, it also produced a shadow wisp that attacked Kyra, and now it's your turn.
Okay, yes. And in this case, he will. Well, Haytham will try to use his thievery again to see what what Ezren pointed out.
Okay. Go for it.
Aha!
What is it? What is it he's doing?
I'm using my sharp-trained eye to see irregularities and vulnerabilities in the system.
Yeah, he's seen magical runes before, usually in protective circles or traps or the sorts, and you spot one that has been drawn hastily, and I guess that check also involves correcting it, so you don't need to spend another action on that.
Well, all right. So he will make his use of his move action to, well, just move about the room, and can I make a second check for this for the second action? Second action, or it's only once per round?
No, you can do another one.
All right. Aha.
Nice. Okay.
It's
I
in the
don't think
shadows.
a
I do my
critical-
best work.
I don't think a critical success would help, though. No. But nonetheless, you find another rune and correct it with your heel, kind of drawing the necessary line with the back of your boot. Ezren.
We'll keep inspecting things.
Mm-hmm. And he finds another rune that has been drawn too hastily. And as he does that, all of a sudden, um, all the assistants jerk up, and the shadow wisp disappears, and the shadowy energy all of a sudden gets drained from the room like a sudden drop of pressure, and the general quality of the room changes greatly. It's like somebody took a great weight off your shoulders, and you almost hear the walls and the floor creak as the great pressure is released, as if the entire weight of the shadow plane had been weighing on this little chamber. And the next moment, the assistants kind of collapse, almost dropping to their knees, breathing heavily, greatly strained. And Tavar, the woman who'd been doing this ritual, also seems exhausted from the ordeal that she just went through. Let me see what happens next. Because now I need to go back to the front of the PDF again. Yeah, and she breathes heavily, and then realizes that what you've done, that you've helped, and she said, "I, I, I was so sure I'd drawn them all correctly. I'm so lucky you came."
You've been
I-
cutting corners.
And and because of you, back on the plaza, we were attacked by caco demons and some shit. You should consider.
What demons? No. This had nothing to do with the abyss. No, this was all focused on the shadow plane. That's here. This was the focus of it all. She says, and she grabs a shadowy elixir from the center of the room and hands it to you. She says, "It's a lesser mist form elixir. It's made of shadow stuff. So I thought it would be a good idea to use that." But you take it. You take it. I don't think I'm gonna try this again. No impact factor is worth this. We barely made it.
All right, I will write it.
Well, at least you made it alive and you learned something out of it.
I sure did, she says. And you can tell that she's quite shaken by the experience. And the museum is safe once again, leaving only one more job for you to do, which is
Steal a ship.
Yes, I will write this lesser shadow form into my inventory because Haytham will pocket that thing.
it's not lesser shadow form, it's something else, but it doesn't really
It's
matter.
a mist form.
Alright.
Mist form, that's what it is. Yeah.
Mist form.
Okay. So the last mission, is going to take place in the Flotsam Graveyard, which is a large field of shipwrecks that poses a hazard to shipping through Absalom's harbor, but it's also a playground for adventurers of all calibers, essentially. It's not officially a district itself, but it's also not within the docks district of Absalom. It's just sort of this, ship graveyard, as the name implies, that is not really considered part of the city as such. The Pathfinder Society has arranged for a small boat to transport you to and from the wrecked vessel that what's her name? Calizro is interested in. And the captain, named Semiri Balagog, a cheerful Rainkin half-orc, with sun-dark skin and thick braids of black hair adorned with gold rings. She has provided ferrying services for Pathfinder agents for over a decade, and she loves hearing about your missions past and present, and asks you all kinds of questions about what you've already done for the society, and reciprocates with some name dropping of famous Pathfinders that she's been ferrying through this district.
Yeah, I mean, you would be delighted
before.
to learn that I was almost eaten by demons today 3 times already.
Right. Yeah, she's quite impressed by all of your stories, especially for such new recruits. She's greatly impressed by what sort of challenges you've already faced. So, did you go straight here? Did you spend some time gathering information first, or did you just come straight here?
I think asking a few questions might be a good idea. I mean, it is a information gathering mission, so
Okay. So that will be diplomacy check to gather information for everybody who to do that before traveling to the wreck.
this is
Nice.
nope. I should stop with the diplomacy checks.
You don't know how to do it. You check this out.
Okay. And what about, is that Kyra or Ezren who rolled?
That was Kyra.
And is Ezren going to ask around too, or is he just not good at that?
That's not really sort of thing, yeah.
Okay. Haytham and Rotre, you don't roll, man, nobody knows anything about it. There's a million out there, and way too unspecific to really learn anything helpful. But Kyra hears about a strange creature that has been sighted on a ship that fits the description. And again, scroll until I find that table. And apparently it's been quite protective of the shipwreck and doesn't let anyone get close to it. Seems like it's been hoarding all sorts of shiny object that it's scavenged from the ship, and is protecting its hoard
Well, I can blame
against any possible thieves. The creature itself is described as a vaguely, well, not just vaguely, but a humanoid, but strangely stitched together from individual parts. So not necessarily undead as such, but definitely not just a regular human or elf or something like that. Just very, very strange looking. Lots of scars.
Wonderful. Well, at least it won't be demons this time that will try to consume my flesh.
Yeah. So that's what you learned before setting out here, and you should probably share that story with your captain too, right?
Well, probably.
who's chuckling at the description, says, "Well, would be too easy otherwise, wouldn't it?" And she ferries you out towards the ship that you described, or that she was described, and lets you, or helps you climb on board. The ship itself is only partially above the waves in its current position. The bottom deck is completely flooded, probably making it impassable. The top of the masts are broken off, leaving only jagged, waterlogged stumps reaching up about 15 feet above the deck. All the rigging has long since rotted away. The weathered boards of the ship's main deck are cracked, warped, and thoroughly covered in a thick, stinking carpet of algae, seaweed, and barnacles. The sudden mess squashes and scrapes underfoot while squawking gulls circle overhead. The ship once boasted 3 masts, but they are now broken off only a few feet above the jagged railings. And whatever other distinguishing features might have once existed on this vessel are either long lost or utterly obscured. Empty doorways lead into cabins to the fore and aft, and a dark opening descends into the lower level.
We are still on the ship that took us there.
Nope, you
we're
climbed aboard
Yeah,
of
we're
the
on
ship.
the actual ship.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you intend to explore the? What do you intend to do while you're exploring the ship? How do you go about doing that? What is your character going to do?
Well, Ezren is going to provide light.
Okay, by casting the spell light.
Yep, and then he's going to detect magic to see if anything pops up.
Okay.
And with Haytham, as I said, he will immediately draw his weapons and he will start to glance around in his paranoia, seeking any sign of danger and imminent attack. He will just basically cover their backs, while more intelligent people are conducting investigation.
Yeah, Rotre is just gonna poke around, use his foot to, open crates and see if he can make his way down to the cargo hold. See if anything interesting got left behind.
Okay. All right. So, you climb down into the cargo hold, where sharp beams of sunlight filter down through cracks in the main deck to cast this cargo hold in a dim light. Though the ship's original armaments are now little more than rotted ballista mounts, this area shows signs of recent activity, including intact shipping crates, a recently broken crate, a few boxes, and faint trails worn through the slippery vegetation growing over the deck. Wooden doors in finer condition than the rest of the boat stand to the north and south, but the stairs leading further down now lead only into dark, scummy water. Give me a second. Okay. And as you climb down there, your steps on the staircase leading down creaking, or the boards creaking with every step. You hear a grunt from below the staircase. And before you can fully make your way down there, you're attacked by a strange looking, well, man, quote unquote, that looks like this is only making grunting sounds as if it only possesses a feral intelligence at best. And it has this strange tentacly hand, right hand, while its left hand is quite normal. But other than that, nothing is normal about it. Stitched together like a like an Ustalavian monster. And it gets an, well, let's give it a stealth initiative, and everybody else can roll perception.
Perception as initiative or perception as
Yeah,
PC?
perception as initiative.
I was ready for it.
That's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, for sure. Can you fill in your initiatives?
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay. Haytham, you were following Rotre downstairs, and you probably saw the thing shift under the staircase, and you're in fact the first one to react.
Mhm. And Haytham immediately yelled at Rotre like, "Watch out! It's the thing!" And he will designate the thing as his hunted prey, and he will try to stab it because it's clearly some, well,
Yeah, you would have to climb downstairs though first.
all right, I can't climb, I can do that even if this thing tries to stab me. He will position himself somehow like this,
Mm-hmm.
and well, at this point Haytham had enough shit happen to him right now, so he will just stab right away
Okay.
with a flourish again, because well, there's no need, no reason not to flourish.
20 to hit is a hit for 5 points of slashing damage, but the 9 is of course a miss.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that will be it.
Okay. So you add a scar to its pattern. Ezren.
We'll move into the room to see what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And well, he's going to try to figure out what is this thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. You have no idea. Yeah, you don't know. Sorry.
No skill checks, nothing
No,
possible.
no, unfortunately. All right. Well, I mean, you should be able to try an Arcana knowledge, recall knowledge.
Okay, Arcana.
26. Okay. You're quite sure that this is some sort of construct because it just doesn't look like anything that would have organically grown like that. Yeah, but beyond which would also mean that it could have surprising abilities because it's not it's been constructed so it doesn't need to it didn't evolve like that, so it can have surprising abilities, but without witnessing them, it's impossible to tell what they might be.
Um, and with his last action, what can he do? He'll cast shield, protect himself.
Okay. That's just a single action?
Yes. For
Cool. Cool. Rotre.
Rotre says, "Skin and bones, this I understand." And wasting no time, he flies into a rage.
Nice.
Okay,
That's one action?
that's
Right.
one action, and I gain 3 temporary hit points, lasts 1 minute,
Mm-hmm.
or until there are no enemies. I deal 2 extra points of damage, minus 1 AC, and I cannot concentrate on stuff.
Okay.
But he is having the thrill of battle and swings the large bastard sword with 2 hands. So it says large bastard sword +7, clumsy one while using 2-hand D12. Does that mean that's the D12 is during damage, right?
The D12 is if you attack is for damage, but when you attack with 2 hands instead of just 1 hand.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's two things. So the clumsy is a weapon trade, I believe. Or no, it's a condition.
Yeah.
And that's because you copied the iconic barbarian whose backstory has in it that it's using this oversized sword.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that
So-
because I'm gonna change those things for next game.
Yeah, but then you would have to use a completely different weapon with different damage die and everything.
Okay.
So
for
I
now,
think
it's yeah.
for now you should still use that,
Okay.
which means that you take 1 to your attack roll, but a -1 to your attack roll, but that's gonna be included in the numbers.
Okay, damage, and it does 1d8 plus 10 when raging. So would that be 1d12 plus 10 when raging?
Yep.
Yes.
Holy crap!
Oh yes.
Okay.
As long as you're using it two-handed. And that's a miss.
Okay, but third and final action.
But you would take a -5 on your attack roll when you're
Okay, yeah.
doing
Well,
multiple attacks.
raging. And,
Throwing that oversized sword around.
It's clumsy, and inside the cargo hold of a ship,
Yeah.
it gets stuck in the back or hits a beam.
Exactly. Haytham, it feels probably very uncomfortable being so close to it. The creature steps back and it makes it kind of puffs for a little bit and then breathes fire.
Oh
And
boy.
yep, and Ezren, Haytham, Rotre, all of you give me reflex save.
Oh no!
Oh boy,
Bloody ships.
I believe that's double damage on a crit fail of a basic save. I gotta double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Take double the listed damage. Oops. Okay, so Rotre
Wow.
takes 40 points of damage, which means that he goes down right away, dying.
Yep.
You get burned to a crisp, dying 2. Or wait, actually, 40 points is probably more than twice your hit points, right?
It is. It is. I have 22 hit points.
Then it is not more than twice your hit points.
It's almost.
Um, And wait a second. So you go to the. If you have the wounded, was dealt by an always take damage by any of the die. Where am I getting that from with the double damage? It doesn't really matter, because not. It wasn't double. Okay, so but you go down and you're dying. Um,
Dying one
Uh,
or dying two?
dying 2 because it was a critical hit. Haytham and Ezren, you take 10 points of damage from the attack. That was its turn, fortunately. Kyra.
We'll move downstairs. 25. I assume that she does see scorch marks.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be obvious what happened here.
Pum, pum, pum. And Rotre on the floor, crisped up. I think she will target Rotre with the heal.
And Rotre comes back with a wounded 1.
All right. Test but a flesh wound.
You're still prone at 11 points, 11 hit points. Haytham.
All right. Haytham is also a little bit crispy, but he will take a step forward to face the beast, and he will unleash all his attacks, one as flourish and one as normal attack at minus everything.
That's a miss. 20 is a hit for 6 points of damage. 6 points of damage. 16 is a miss. Ezrin.
Okay.
Ezren is going to assume that a creature that can breathe fire would have some sort of resistance to fire. So he is going to take a free action to drain his arcane bomb, allowing him to cast magic missile once again. And he's going to put into it all three component actions.
Okay. So it's 8 points of damage. And Rotre.
Does the creature look like it's taking damage?
Oh yeah, it definitely has taken damage, but it's still furiously defending itself.
Well, he said he'll be back right now.
Yeah, okay. But next is going to be the creature, so we're going to have to wait for him. And I found the massive damage rule.
Huh?
If you ever take damage equal to or greater than double your maximum points, you're dead.
What about double damage from failed saves? I'm trying to find it.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, so I was prone. It's one action getting up, right?
Yes.
Gets up. And am I still in rage, or does that disappear?
No,
when
I
go
think
back to life?
when you get knocked out, I believe it
Yeah, that would make
You're no
sense.
longer in range.
Okay, then being perhaps not in rage, but in very bad mood, Rotre will rush forward. Actually, sudden charge doesn't do much. No, then just regular stride to get close and another swing. Oh, finally.
That is a hit.
And it's two-handed, so that makes it 1d12 plus 4. That is a lot.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lot. And it's a brutal strike. The creature is definitely severely damaged, but it is not going down. Apparently well constructed, and instead it swings its fist at Rotre, which is 120 plus 12, so 22 to hit. 6. I assume that's a hit. Alejandro?
Sorry, I wasn't muted.
22 to hit.
22 does hit.
That's 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, and I was at 11, so
So, you still
yeah, I'm
have
still in the
3
fight.
left. And it follows up with a tentacle attack. When it's an agile weapon, does that reduce the multi-attack penalty?
By 1, I
Yeah.
think.
Hmm?
I think it
Yeah.
reduces by 1.
Okay, so then it's plus 8 on the tentacle attack, which is a 21 to hit.
Well, that came towards me as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 did. 21 hits as well.
Okay, so then that's another 11 points of bludgeoning damage, so you go down again,
Yep.
going to dying 2 because you were wounded. That was its second attack, and then with its third attack, it is going to try and tentacle Haytham with a 1d20 plus 4. 15 to hit.
No, 15 will not hit.
Okay. It's cornered, it's fighting frantically, and it's brewing people out. Kyra.
I will move closer and try to cut this creature down.
That's a hit. That's a miss. I don't know what the second roll was, though.
Well, two attacks.
Oh, 2 attacks, okay. First one's a hit. It's 4 points of damage. And Haytham, your turn.
Well then, it's on his last breath. Hopefully, he will clench his teeth, glance at it, and he will press on. Because I don't think I have any more useful abilities at first level to use against it. I can only flurry and attack. Yep. Thankfully, it is still my hunted prey, but hunted prey for now doesn't do much other than allow me to flurry.
$15 is a miss. Ezren.
Not
Oh,
yet.
17 is a miss. 16
Uh,
is a miss. Okay, Ezren.
Ezren is going to cast Electric Arc at the creature.
Ooh, what's that?
It's a basic reflex save.
Okay, what happens?
If it's a 1d4 plus 4 to avoid the damage, electric damage.
23. So I guess that's half.
That's Yep.
So it takes 2 points.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm
How many?
trying to see if there's any last. Nope. No more
Okay.
actions.
Okay. Rotre. On your turn, you can make a recovery check, which means you roll a flat check, and it must be 10 plus your current dying value, so you need to roll higher than a 12, 20.
So
Or-
I roll 1d10.
No, you roll d20,
Okay.
and
And I
you need to roll higher than 12, or equal to or higher than 12. You made it.
Yay!
You're stable.
A very stable genius.
Actually, even better. Your dying value is reduced by 1.
So I'm still in die. No, then I'm still in
Yeah,
die
yeah,
one.
still unconscious, but you're not closer to death, and if you manage to increase it to 0, then you come to, essentially.
Okay.
The creature has been attacked by both Haytham and Kyra, but I think Haytham missed with all of his strikes, so it's going to attack Kyra. 1d20 plus 12 with its fist. Swings its fist at Kyra as a 20.
Yep.
Oh, that hits, okay. 1d10 plus 6. 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And then it follows up with a tentacle. 25 to hit,
That is a hit.
which is 1d6 plus 6 bludgeoning. 12 points of bludgeoning. You go down.
Yep.
And its last tentacle strike against Haytham is a 13,
Yeah,
which is a miss.
it's a. Doesn't
Kyra, you're dying 1, so you need to roll a recovery check.
Oh, already. Yep.
This is going
Oh,
well.
no, actually not, because your initiative gets moved until just before the creature. So you don't have to recover right away. Haytham.
Oy, oy, oy. Well, Haytham is in precarious position, but he will not run away, at least for now. He will try to finish it.
Miss. And a critical hit. Saves the day. Kills the creature, or destroys, I should say, the creature, because as you cut it down, its innards spill out, and Ezren's theory seems to have been right. As you see that it is filled with some sort of organic matter. It looks like flesh, but there's also very clear signs of it being constructed. You can see the tubes that have been implanted to give it this fire breathing ability. They are filled with some sort of volatile, flammable fluid that it apparently can synthesize in its stomach or something. But, that's details. And what's important is that Kyra is dying, and
Yeah.
so is Rotre.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
So
Who is-
Rotre is
Someone stop
going to have
bleeding.
to. Yeah, Ezren can help. Try to help Rotre or Kyra this turn because.
Would potions help here?
Yeah, potions would also help.
Well, we have one lesser healing potion.
Okay, so Ezren is gonna administer that to Kyra and get her back into the race like that. And then Kyra, does she still have some healing left?
No more spells, but she has, which she can. I assume it's been more than an hour since the.
Yes, it has.
Well, she can use her.
Okay, so Kyra
Fitness.
comes back first with Wounded 1, which means that Rotre has to do his own recovery check that turn. So you need to
Okay.
d20 against 11. And you come to by on your own, essentially. You now have Wounded 2, but at least you're conscious.
Oh yeah, I'm not dying. It's all good. It's just a flesh wound.
Join the club, Rotre.
And from here, Kyra can take over with.
Right. But we don't really have to do all the bookkeeping at this point because badly battered and bruised, but nevertheless victorious, you put the creature down, you inspect its lair, and you find dum, 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 you find that there's a broken crate in here that was that has been broken open recently, so it's possible that it broke free from that crate. There are some insignia on them, but I will need a society check to identify them. Nobody?
Society
Yeah,
check.
no, this is beyond the Rotre's.
Actually, Ezren does have that.
Yeah, but neither of you recognizes the strange insignia that may have been responsible for this construct. I would also use a perception check, please. Nice. Okay, so Haytham, you spot a shipping manifest that details that the creature has been shipped from Nyx, the
Oh,
country way down south that has been founded by a powerful wizard and that is world famous for being it's so-called flesh forges are world famous, and that definitely makes sense that this creature would have been created in those flesh forges.
Yeah, it certainly looks like something would be created in a place named Fleshforge.
Why would anyone want to do this kind of thing?
So, well, why don't we ask our previous wizard friend why she thought it would be a nice idea to breach the dimensional realms? I mean, someone gets their jollies out somehow.
Okay, you explore the rest of the lower level of the ship, and besides a pair of magical talismans that have been rolled up in a smelly salt-crusted rag that you find in one of the adjacent bunk or crew bunks. There's also a map room that connects to the cargo hold, and the cabin's floor has been cleared of the algae that are present everywhere else on the ship, and a simple table has been set up in the center of the room with a few chairs pulled up around it. The aft wall bears a large carving of a coat of arms, visible even despite the wear of the elements. An antique lantern hangs above the carving, casting a faint light over papers strewn over the table. It's obvious that the lantern itself is an ever-burning torch that's still shedding its magical light after all these years. And even without a skill check, you can identify um, the uh, the insignia on the wall as Talden in nature, and realizing that the lantern actually comes with glass that can be manipulated to change the color of light it sheds. The age of the lantern, its multicolor function, and the obvious Taldane insignia strongly suggest that the ship is in fact a relic of the original Silent Tide invasion, which is the evidence that Calyssro Bennery wanted you to find. Unfortunately, repairing the ship sufficiently to sail it back into the harbor is beyond your present abilities, so you're somewhat disappointed that you don't get to have that return style that Calyssro had joked about. Nevertheless, you have done all of the jobs that the faction leaders have asked of you, and you hold your head up high, even though you're just greenhorns, essentially, young recruits that have just entered the service of the society. But you feel like you've done well, and you head back to report to the faction leaders, and all of them are quite satisfied. They're enthusiastic about all of your successes, and as you make your way out of the Grand Lodge, Janira Gavix intercepts you one last time in the party. Intercepts you one last time in the halls of the Grand Lodge. She races down the hall, her blonde hair flying in her excitement, and she exclaims, "I just heard you made it back. Congratulations. It sounds like everything went, well, about as well as anyone could expect. Come with me. I have something for each of you." A halfling woman leads the way into a small office and distributes finely crafted wooden boxes. Within each, a gleaming compass, lid emblazoned with the glyph of the open road and an engraved name, lies upon a cushion of silk. "I'm not sure if you've picked up your own wayfinders yet, but when you do, you should have ones that prove that you belong. Now it's official," she beams. "Welcome to the Pathfinder Society."
Ooh, we made it.
We have badges,
By the
badges
skin of our
office.
teeth, but we did it.
Indeed, by the skin of your teeth.
And skin of our other places too.
Man, 2E does a really good job of making encounters deadly.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, but without being like overpowering. So it's just always right there on the line where it's gripping and intense, but it's not ridiculously impossible.
It didn't feel like, that's bullshit. It was like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
It helps that you don't accumulate negative hit points.
Yeah, that you don't just die by a lucky crit.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really, really lucky one. That's true.
Although I suppose we probably should check out on more higher levels how it evens out.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, given that the first levels were usually the swingiest, where you would die instantly if somebody has a lucky roll, I'm quite impressed with how this is now working. I like those dying rolls.
Mm,
You don't? I mean,
I
you
don't
know,
like dying.
having them applied to you, but the way that they work seems pretty cool. And that you even once you're stable, or there's you don't stabilize and then you're just out of the encounter, but you get to do something even when you're unconscious.
Well, it's
Until you die or you come back.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's really cool too.